Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to look at 30 days of ML, which is the challenge from Kaggle. So in these 30 days, you're going to learn something new each day for the first 15 days, and in the next 15 days, you're going to work on a Kaggle competition. So it says that from machine learning beginner to a Kaggle competitor in 30 days. And I think it's a very nice opportunity for beginners, and you should definitely do that. We're going to take a look at what's there in day one, and we will continue it for the next 30 days. Okay, so today I got an email saying I have an assignment. So there is a link, follow the instructions in this notebook to get started with Kaggle. And then you can join the machine learning Discord community. So I would definitely encourage you to join the Discord community. You are going to, if you face any problems, you can ask there, you can get solutions instantly. There are a lot of members there, thousands of people. And today, if you have not set up your Kaggle account, we are going to set up Kaggle account. Unfortunately, I already have a Kaggle account. So you can set up your own Kaggle account. Just go to kaggle.com, click on sign up, and just get started from there. Okay, so now this is the notebook that you have to follow, and it's quite easy. I will talk a little bit about different steps that are mentioned here. First of all, you have kaggle.com/me, which will always take you to your Kaggle profile. And when you have not started with anything, your profile is going to look like this. It's going to be empty. And there are 4 different categories. One is competitions, datasets, notebooks, and then you have discussions. And you get ranked from novice to grandmaster in all these 4 different categories. So competitions are competitions which are submitted by different companies, and you can team up with other Kagglers and compete together. And then you have datasets where people share different kinds of datasets. Notebooks are these are Jupyter notebooks, and we will learn about them. And discussions are just helping each other, progressing together, asking questions, replying to people. So that's your discussion part. And you go from novice to grandmaster level in all these different categories. So you have novice, then you have contributor, you have expert, master, grandmaster. And if you look at kaggle.com/progression, it will tell you what it takes to become grandmaster in any level or any other level. So if you have just joined, you are a novice, you have registered, and so you see this check mark here in my profile. If I run one notebook or a script, I make one competition or task submission, I get one point for that. So another check mark, and then you have, if I make one comment, I get another check mark. If I give one upvote, I get another check mark. So that's how I will become a contributor. And then you can become an expert if you have, like for competitions, you can become an expert in competition, in datasets, in notebooks, or in discussions, and also all of them together. So you have to accumulate these medals, and you get medals. Like for discussions, you will get 1 bronze medal if you have 5 upvotes. So things like that. These are different for different categories. Then you have the master level. Again, a lot of things, and then the final grandmaster level. So they also explain how you get medals. So you should definitely go and take a look at kaggle.com/progression. And here you have, like if you're in the top 40%, then you get a bronze medal. If you're in top 10% and there are only 0 to 99 teams, then you get a gold medal. But when you have a lot of teams, like when you have less number of teams, it's difficult. When you have a lot of teams, it becomes relatively easier, but not that easy. And you will also get some points for participating in a competition. So you participate in a competition, you get some points, and that will build your overall competition rank. So you get points for everything, like making a discussion post, creating a data set that is used by a lot of people, creating a Kaggle kernel or notebook, or taking part in different competitions. If you take part in competitions, you will probably achieve everything else. So, yeah, there is a point calculation, and also you have to keep in mind when you have, let's say you have 100 points, and they will decline or decay over time. So they will probably become 0 if you stop Kaggling. And this is how the points are calculated. So you can take a look at this if you want to. But yeah, you see, like, it's divided by the root of a number of teammates you have. So if you have a lot of teammates, you don't earn many points, but it's also encouraged because you can have 4 teammates and your points get divided by only 2. Yeah, so like then you have data sets and notebooks and discussion. So all these 3, whenever you get an upvote, you get a point. Okay, so now getting back to the notebook. So now we have to level up. So right now you are a novice. You have just started taking part in, you've just signed up for a Kaggle account. You don't know what anything is, how difficult it is, but you have to get to the contributor level. And it's not very difficult. You just need to follow some steps. So now we are at step 3. So now we have taken a look at your profile. So kaggle.com/Abhishek, that because Abhishek is my username, or I can also do kaggle.com/me. It will take me to my username page. And then you read about the progression, how it works, what are the different categories, what are the different performance tiers. And then you have the 3rd step, submitting to a competition, submitting to an actual competition. Okay, so let's see step 3 first, and then we go to step 4, or we can also do it the other way around, but let's try it this way. So submit to Titanic. Okay, so first you will run a notebook and make a competition submission. To do this, follow the instructions in this notebook. So we have another notebook that we have to follow to make a submission in the Kaggle Titanic competition. So let's take a look at this notebook. What do we have here? Okay, so you have logged into Kaggle, and now you see a lot of things, a lot of data sets, a lot of competitions, people discussing different kinds of things. So don't confuse yourself. Look at 101 competitions first, and Titanic is one of the most popular 101 competition for beginners. So now what we are going to do is we are going to see what the Titanic competition is about first. So whenever you start a competition, so let's go to the competition page. So I have opened the competition page, and here I have already joined the competition, so I see that I can submit the predictions. But let's say you have not joined the competition, you have opened the page for the first time, you will see something like this, and it says join competition. So you can click on join competition. It will ask you if you understand the rules and regulations. So if you're starting, then probably you should take a look at what the rules says, and then you click on I understand and accept, and you join the competition. So now you're in the competition, and now you have to you can take a look at the overview to know what the competition is about, and then you can join the competition if you want to join. If you don't want to join, don't join the competition. So here in this competition, what you have to do is you have to predict who survives Titanic, and you are provided with some data. So you have the data tab, you have the code tab, discussion, leaderboard, rules, team. You have so many different things. So here first of all, you read the description, what you have to do. So here it says, use machine learning to create a model that predicts which passengers survived the Titanic shipwreck. So that's what you have to do. And then you see, okay, what's the other information that I have? So you can read about the challenge. So you have to, it's like this sentence says, in this challenge, we ask you to build a predictive model that answers the question, what sorts of people were more likely to survive using the passenger data? So this gives you more information, like you are provided with name, age, gender, socioeconomic classes, these kind of things. And you have to build a model to predict who survived Titanic. So now you go to the evaluation page and see what the evaluation, how your model is going to be evaluated. So here you see it's simple, it's very simple, it's accuracy. So if there are only 4 samples, 2 survived, 2 didn't survive, and you predict them correctly, it's 100% accuracy. So you only have to predict 0 or 1. So passenger survived or not. So survived is 1 and deceased is 0. And this is how you have to format the submission file, the CSV file. So now we will go and take a look at the data that we have. Before that, let's go back to this notebook and see what it says. Okay, so yeah, the notebook also talks about the data that we have. There are 3 different files. One is train.csv, then you have test.csv, and you have gender submission.csv. So train.csv contains the details of subset of passengers, 891 passengers. If I go to this data page, I can click on train, and then it will show me what train.csv consists of. So it has like 12 columns. Let me select all of them. And here now I can see it has passenger ID. It has a column that says survived or not. So 549 deceased and 342 survived. Then you have P class, name, sex, age. You have a bunch of other columns. Ticket number, maybe, I don't know. It has fare, how much did the person pay, the cabin number or cabin type, maybe, embarked, S or C. So all this information is usually provided in this data page. So here, like SIB-SP is the dataset defines family relations, sibling or spouse. So that's what the column means. And then you have P class, so socioeconomic status, upper, middle, or lower class. So once you have taken a look at the data set and what each column means, so like look at this table. It's quite explanatory, and it says, okay, you have the ticket number, ticket is the ticket number, fare is the passenger fare, cabin is cabin number, embarked is port of embarkation. So yeah, 3 different ports. So we have a training set. Going back here, we have a training set, we have a test set, and we have a gender_submission.csv. So my training set consists of survived column, but my test set will not consist of the survived column. That's what we have to predict. And you have the gender submission. So these predictions assume only female passengers survive. So this is the submission based on gender. That's it. So now we go to our old notebook. So it says if survived column value is 1, then the passenger has survived. If 0, the passenger did not survive. And you have the test data, which is same as training data, except there is no survived column. So the structure is the same, not the values. And then you have the gender submission. Okay, so now you will start coding, and when you're working with Kaggle, you don't have to worry about setting up everything. You don't have to worry about the GPUs or TPUs or installing any library. Everything is already done for you. So now if I have to code with competitions data, so like I'm looking at this Titanic competition and I have this code tab here. I will click on code, and then I can click on new notebook. It will automatically load the data for this competition in my notebook. So let's try that. And it starts a Kaggle kernel or a Kaggle notebook. And here you have different things. So some pre-filled values. So now to run this, all you have to do is click on this play button, or you can just be here and press Shift Enter or Control Enter. I prefer Shift Enter because then it creates another cell for me. So I press Shift Enter and then it will start. But it's starting, so let's take a look at a few more things. Here you see there is Data tab, and it has the input Titanic, and it has all these files. And you can, whatever output you have will go into this directory. And you're working with Python environment, you don't have to care about it. Accelerator is CPU, GPU, or TPU. We are not using any GPU or TPU, we're just using the CPU at the moment, and internet is on, so I can access internet from my notebook. So let's take a look now. So what's happening? So we have imported a package called NumPy and a package pandas for reading CSVs. And then we import OS, which is also a Python package, which is there in Python when you install Python for the first time. And we go through each and every file and directory inside this folder called /Kaggle/input and try to print and we print all the file names. So we have /Kaggle/input /Titanic/train.csv and so on, the test.csv and general submission.csv. So let's remove all this part and also this one. So here we have the imports. So these are called imports. When you write a Python script or a notebook, these should be on the top of the file usually. And now what we do is we are going to load the training and test data. So if we want to load the training or test data, we have to read the CSV file. So CSV file can be read using pandas. We just do pd.readcsv. So if I call it train data frame, or I can call it train data, is pd. Let's follow the same convention that's in this notebook. So they also do train underscore data. So train underscore data is pd.read underscore csv, and then inside here you have to provide the path of the training file. So here we can do /Kaggle/input Titanic, and then you have train.csv. Now you have successfully loaded the train dataset, and you can take a look at the dataset by just saying writing train underscore data, pressing shift plus enter, or just the play button here. So this is the data that you have, and that's what we saw. If you want to take a look at only a few samples, you just do head, and it's going to show you the first 5 rows. Similarly, you can do test data. Test.csv, and we will do the same thing, test underscore data dot head. So now we got training file and test file, and you will see that there's a lot of values which are NaN, so that's not a number. So these are missing values, and when you're working with a machine learning problem, you will encounter missing values quite a lot. We won't discuss about this on day 1, but maybe in future. So right now you have train data, you have test data, and now you have to make some kind of prediction. So let's try to figure out what is the percentage of women who survived and what is the percentage of men who survived. Okay, so whenever you press shift plus enter, it will create a new cell. So like if I'm here, I press shift plus enter, I get a new cell. And here you have some tools. So like if you have to delete it or just cut it, you just remove the cell, and here you have different tools that you can take a look at. So now here it also says that we use Python module called pandas, and if you don't know about what pandas is, you shouldn't worry about it. And if you're eager to learn a little bit more about it, just Google it. pandas Python, and it's going to take you to this website. Go there, and here there is a getting started, and here you can learn how to use pandas. So yeah, it's really a very cool library. A lot of people use it. Almost everyone uses it, and this is something that you should know about. So now it says, okay, we are still on step 3. So now I'll go back to the Titanic tutorial, and here it says, okay, before making your first submission, explore a pattern. And I will also tell you what a submission is. So it says, remember that the sample submission file in gender submission assumes that all female passengers survived and all male passengers died. So is this a reasonable guess? So now you have to check how many passengers survived, how many died for both male and female. So let me just copy this thing, and we can just paste it here. So it says train.lock, so location where train.sex is female, sex is female, and you have the survived column only. Sorry, I'm looking at the training data. So you have the survived column. So now here, if I print this, I am getting some index. So you can ignore the first column, but the second one, I'm getting some values which are zeros or ones. So if I take sum of this, it's just adding all the ones. So the people who survived, number of women who survived. Now, if I divide this by the length of women, I'm getting a percentage, right? That is a percentage, just multiplied by 100. So 74.2% of women survived. So this can also be done in many different ways. So if you have to find out how many females survived, there are many different ways of doing this. So this is one of the ways. So train_data is your data frame. It's your pandas data frame, and .lock is a function inside that. And to do the same thing, we can also do something like train_data, train_data dot sex equal to female. So this will give me all the rows where sex is female. And then what I can do is I can just do dot survived. So now it gives me the survived column. So I can say women, and then I can do the same thing here. Okay, 74.02, 74.2. So now you have to do the same thing for men. So let's take a look at what's done here. So yeah, this variable is called rate_women. So let's use the same name, and let's copy everything and make it men. Sex equal to male, rate_men. So rate, so now you can do, either you can do print, or we can do it the same way that they have done. So let's take this, percentage of women who survived, and we just use the print function, and percentage of men who survived. Okay, I have to, so it says that it's not able to find rate_women because we did not run this cell. So we will run everything from the beginning. So shift enter, and just carry on till the end. Or you can also go and click on run and run all. So percentage of men survived is 18.89%. Okay, so this does tell us something, and this part is known as EDA, so exploratory data analysis. So you can make such analysis depending on different columns in the dataset on your own and see what makes sense. Now we will move to the next part. So the next part here is your first machine learning model. So now we are talking about a machine learning model on your very first day. It's called Random Forest, which is a really very good model, has been used in the industry and research for a long time, and still being used. So what is Random Forest? You don't have to worry if you don't know what Random Forest is on day one. You can, again, Google it. Google Random Forest. There's a lot of information to read about there. But now let's take a look at their explanation here. And this diagram, what does it say? So this model is constructed of several trees. Now you have to think what trees are. So the trees that we are talking about are decision trees. So in decision trees, so let's say this is one tree, and this tree starts from the feature sex, and it says if sex is female, if sub-sp is less than 3 and parch is less than 4, then survived is 1. But if we follow the same path and we say if parch is greater than 4, greater than or equal to 4, then survived is 0. So decision trees are just like they are very simple machine learning models, so which are rule based. So you can say if sex is equal to female and sub-sp is less than or equal to 3 and parch greater than or equal to 4, then survived is 0. Simple if else. So Random Forest combines many different trees into one, not into one, but it takes results from many different trees, and let's say it gives you a simple average. That's the most basic way to understand this. So I created one tree based on some features. I created another tree based on some other features. So we are using like subset of these features. So here the feature that we have used is sex, sub-sp, and parch. We start from sex. Here the feature that we have used is p class, sub-sp, parch, and sex. So we have used different features. We are always starting from some different feature, and then we combine the predictions of these three trees. So if my tree number 1 has said survived is true or survived is 1, and tree number 2 has also said survived is 1, and tree 3 says survived is 0, we say survived is 1, because this is like majority of trees are voting for survived equal to 1. So that's also known as majority voting. And these kind of models, which combine different smaller models into one large model, are called ensemble models. And don't be scared of that term. We will come to that maybe in near future. So now you have to now we choose 4 different columns. So we choose p class, sex, sub-sp, and parch. So if we go back to our data, we say okay, sex, sub-sp, parch, and p class. These are the 4 different columns that we have chosen. So we import Random Forest classifier. Now this comes from another very cool machine learning library called scikit-learn. So you can go and Google scikit-learn if you don't know about it, but probably you do already. So we import it, and I have imported it in the first cell. So I have to rerun that cell, and then I will just so my target variable here is survived. So I can just do df survived. This is my target. Sorry, there is no df. So there is train underscore data. And if I look at my target, I will see it's 0, 1. The first one you can ignore, it's just index. Okay, so now I got my target variables, and then I choose which features I want to train the model on. So I choose the features p class, sex, sub-sp, parch. And And when I look at the, if I have to choose only these features, I can say train features, train underscore data and features. Let's run this one first and then this one. So this is the training data that I have, but only the features that I have mentioned here. One thing that you have to remember, like these are strings and you cannot train your model on strings. So you need to convert these strings to numbers. So what we can do is we can use another pandas function called pd.getDummies and run it on the subset of the features that we have. So now what we get, it creates dummies for all the columns wherever required. So here, instead of the column sex, we have now sex underscore female and sex underscore male, and this is represented by a binary variable 0 or 1. So now this becomes your training data. So, which is denoted by X. So X equal to your training data, or you can also call it training data. And then you have training data and training data. Okay, let's call it X. And similarly, you do X underscore test. And here you can say instead of train data, this is test underscore data. So you got X and you got X underscore test. And now you train your model, which is your random forest model. So CLF is random forest classifier. And let's see what the parameters that we are using here. Number of estimators, max depth, and random state. So don't worry much about parameters at the moment. Number of estimators is the number of trees that you have. Max depth is how deep the trees are. And random state is just some seed that you set. If you don't set it, your results will have randomness in it. So instead of CLF, let's call it model. And then we fit the model on X, and instead of Y, we wrote target. So I will just change it to target here. And then we create predictions on the test set. So model.predict. And let's see what happens here. And it's done. So it's quite fast. As you can see, we don't have a lot of data. And now we got predictions, which is an array of binary values, 0 or 1. So now we have the predictions. So what we will do is we will create a data frame out of these predictions. So I will take the same IDs. So test data.passenger ID. So you have to keep the order same. So you don't want to assign survive to someone who has disease, whose probability of being diseased is higher. So you have to keep the order of the IDs the same as the predictions. So they must match. And now you can save your output file to a CSV. So let's call it mysubmission.csv. You can choose to save index or not. We will just choose index equal to false because that's how Kaggle expects your submission CSV to look like. Okay, let's save it. And now here, if I want to take a look at output, we can see you have the passenger ID and survived or not survived. So when you're done with all the explorations and you see that everything works in a sequence, you can click on save version, and here just choose save and run all, and it's going to run everything. And now you wait. So till we wait, we can just go and see what's happening here. So yeah, they tell you save and run all, and then we have the first submission, but we need to wait for that. So we will just wait for a few minutes or seconds. So after a while, it's successful. So I can either click here and click on open in viewer. So you have to remember that Kaggle provides you certain quota for GPUs. Since you're not using a GPU, it's fine. But now since I'm done with the notebook, I can just click on this button and it will power off. So saving some resources. So here is my notebook that has been generated, and I take a look, and okay, survived or not. And here I have this output, so you can just click on the output, and then you have the submit button. Since it's associated to a competition, you have the submit button. If it's not, you don't have the submit button. I click on submit, and now it will tell me, okay, select notebook, the version of the notebook, and blah blah blah, whatever the discussion. So description. So my first submission, and I click on submit, and then I can click on view my submissions, and it gives me a score. So I scored 77.511. 0.775. So that's my accuracy. I click on the leaderboard. I go to jump to my position on the leaderboard, and here I am. Let's see. It's not jumping to my position. Oh my god, there's a lot of people today. But I have made my first submission to this competition, Titanic, and that's your first step. As a bonus, I will tell you how you can improve your score. So one of the things that you can do is increase the number of trees and the depth. So you don't have to increasing it always is not going to work. If you increase it by a lot, it's going to learn the training data perfectly, and then it's not going to perform well on the test data, which it has not seen, which the model has not seen. And this is called overfitting. So you don't want to over optimize your parameters. So this is one thing that you should keep in mind. Here, I will just do it 250 and 7. And maybe I can also add another feature, age. So let's try doing that and see what happens. I don't know if it's going to work, but let's see. So then I run all the cells. I mean, we can also remove the percentage of people who survived or not. So now it says that input contains nan, or so there's probably some missing values. So now if you have missing values, what can you do? So in this step where we get the dummies, we can add dot fill na 0. Let's say. So if I have any missing values, it will be filled with 0. Or since it's age, it's not advisable to fill with 0. So I will just do fill with -1, invalid age. Then I run everything again, and now it worked. So let's save the version. Okay, so yeah, so now it's running. So we wait for a couple of minutes or less than that. Again, we are done. So I just click on this, open in viewer. I can close this, and when it takes a long time to run your notebook, you can also leave it running and then come back, and I will show you where you can find it. So now it's done, and I have the output again, and maybe something has changed. You can check that, and here it says version 2 of 2. So now I have version 2, and click on submit, and then I can see my submission again. So you see, despite of adding new feature, I did not improve. So adding new feature doesn't always mean it will improve. Maybe I have to optimize certain hyperparameters to improve it further. So in the first iteration, my score was 775, and now I have 0.75. So so you can keep experimenting this way instead of adding new feature. If I had just improved the number of estimators, increase the number of estimators. So you can also check that, and that's very easy. We just remove all the things that we added and remove age. So we don't fill nan values, and we just remove age, and now we only have the estimator and max depth and random state. So this is the only change we have, and then we can try it one more time. In the meantime, we can go to part 4. So part 4 is where you can learn more, but no, we don't have to go to part 4. We have to go to the step 4, make a comment. So now you see a lot of people on Kaggle, they share notebooks, they share. So if I click on code, I find different notebooks here. I can sort by different filters. And when I click on a notebook, I get comments. But here you see there's something called your work. So if you have done something, so we created this notebook. So I guess the third version is also ready. So it's successful. And okay, I don't need to turn that on. And now I can also try to submit the third version and see if it improves something. If it doesn't, then we will do something else, but not today. And view submission. And it's actually exactly the same as before, so it doesn't change anything. So these 4 features alone can't do everything for us. Maybe we need to create some new features, and that's called feature engineering. We learn about that in future. So now I was showing you the different notebooks that you can find inside code, so you can go and learn from them, see how they deal with stuff. I see this notebook, and if I like it, okay, there's a lot of things that has been done, and here I can say, okay, I can give an upvote. So click on this arrow to give an upvote. So now I have upvoted this notebook, and here I can also if I have to thank them, then I would just use the upvote option. Or if I have to ask something, so then I can ask, okay, why did you use random forest classifier? Why not something else? So I can just copy this. How did you end up choosing random forest classifier? And then you post a comment, and or you can respond to someone else's comment if you want, and that's called writing a comment. So I have shown you already how to give one upvote. So you have upvoted a notebook, but you can also, if you want, you can also go and upvote some discussions if you want. So you have the both options, upvote and downvote. For discussions. For notebooks, it's only upvote. And you can also comment on something, what this person is asking. If you know the answer, you can comment, or you can say, I also want to know the same, things like that. So this was day 1, and we have finished it successfully. If you have done everything as mentioned in this notebook here, and as I explained, you will become a Kaggle contributor today. So what's next? We will see tomorrow. So that's it for day 1. I will see you tomorrow on day 2. And if you like this video, don't forget to click on the like button and do subscribe to the channel, and do tell your friends about it. See you. Bye bye.